Alrighty. Here we are. We are back again for another episode of Colquitt's Corner monthly analysis. Super excited because we are coming up on the end of the year. All right. So, let's see here. We are looking at the S&P 500. And here we are on the monthly, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but earlier this year we had the coronavirus hit us, and we took a massive pullback. Hit the bottom of this cloud, bounced up, got back above it, got back above this green line, stayed bullish. Now we have broken the highs, did a small little pullback right to right here. Marked off this level a few times in the past monthly analysis, held that level, and now we are way back up. And looks like we're doing pretty strong, so we'll see here. Let's take a look at the weekly here and go down a little bit further. And as you can see here, we do have a breakout. Not necessarily my most ideal type of breakout, but it has broken out. We even can see here we had a pullback as soon as it broke out, came below the red line, managed to get back above it, didn't quite break it, then pull back again. So there was a lot of choppiness and shakiness, but managed to get back above and continue to keep going. So, clearly we prevailed. We got it back above the pivot, and now we are still bullish, all the above. Let's take a look at the daily as well. See the same thing, basically an overall consolidation. Tried to break out once, did not do it. Even set up a bearish breakout, didn't do it. Then managed to break out on the bullish side. So, again, this is a real ugly pattern here. Not necessarily what I like to see as far as probability wise, but again, sentiment clearly here bullish. People are at it again. And here's the 4 hour too. So you can see here on the 4 hour, breaking out bullish and trucking up. All right, let's go take a look at gold. Alrighty here, gold on the monthly was breaking out of this range here, broke the top, came out, got overextended, did a pullback, all right? And, during the whole COVID, this thing was trucking up, doing really well, then reached its peak, broke, came back down, and held right here at this line. This nice little, if you can see the Tinkerson that's flat here, also matches right above here. Really love it when Ichimoku levels line up with pivots like that. I mean, even just basic price action, if you just remove the cloud and you just went on pivots, support's becoming resistance becoming support. So then you turn around and you add the cloud and you keep that same philosophy, but include just adding on your probabilities when you get a level like this, matching up. It's just more of a confirmation at the end of the day. So you could get overboard with indicators, but I do believe and, have often heard that just a couple indicators help. Not one indicator, but a couple can help each other. Too much can get a little confusing and be a little too much. So if we take a look at the weekly here on the gold as we look, see here, nice trend, got stopped out here, but kept going up. Now we're pulling in. We're starting a little bit of a wave pattern. We're holding here. We're bouncing back up. First obstacle is this cross here. Looking at this IMTF, this red line. Really need to break above that in order to get bullish again. So we got a range, and that's what we're looking at. So let's take a little bit deeper look at that range on the daily. And as you can see here, we did have a breakout bearish. Okay. Again, pulling back up. That Tinkerson on the weekly matches this Cajunson here. That's where you get the multiple time frames. And again, now we got this cross building here, right? So this would end up being a support that will hopefully help us stay moving upwards, right? So again, we redefine our range a little bit more, especially if you're getting down into the swing elements and day trading elements. You probably more likely going to define your range in that element. Take a look at the 4 hour here so we can get a little bit more of the story. And you can see here we actually broke out of the cloud. So we bounced off that level, came all the way up here, barely got a pullback. All right, just enough to flip this, keep it going, broke through the cloud. So this had a lot of momentum when it bounced off of that, right? Higher time frames clearly controlling this broke out of the cloud. And as you can see here, here's a pivot. And we pretty much, like I said, we were talking about that price action, right? If you mark off there, you got that SKB line, not quite there, but obviously this is respecting that. Hit pivot to pivot, basically a resistance, a support becoming a resistance. So we'll see here, get a pullback. I would set an alert here to see where that pullback happens. If it pulls all the way back there, I would set an alert here too. But if you do any trades short term, would be in this range playing, and I'll wait till it either hits one or the other, okay? Unless you find you do have some like lower time frame, some lower time frame resistance. You can take some small risk rewards, play it down. But just be aggressive, take profit quickly. Let's jump into crude oil, because crude oil is trying to make a comeback. And as you can see here, we are still bearish, okay? We are below the cloud, right? And we are right up against the Cajunson here. So hitting a major resistance, right? And if you take a look at that resistance, matching here the future SKB, you can see now the Cajunson has moved. We have broken that Cajunson. This is somewhat significant, okay? You can see here the Cajunson is coming down to this support here, which matches this. That's been a support for a while with this red line. And you can see up here we have a little bit of our zone that we're going to be trading in, okay? So clearly we came back up, hit the red line, was forced to go back down, but still held bullish momentum, came back up, and we've stopped at the green line. Again, fighting our way up, it looks like. And crude oil definitely wants to make a comeback. You can see here on the weekly, we are breaking out on the cloud, okay? And we're setting up a bullish breakout. Not the most ideal, but it is attempting to do what it does. And again, you can see we've got our levels marked off here, right? You can see I had this level marked off in the middle here. So we got a little bit of a zone that at least we know we can play in, where we can take small risk trades, be aggressive until we can get a higher time frame confirmation of probabilities of breaking out more long term in either direction. And as we look here on the daily, we do have a breakout. Again, not the strongest breakout, but it is breaking out. We've got some little bit of overextension dots. But like I said, crude oil is doing its best to get bullish again. So again, you can see that level we marked off does match up with a little bit of a red line here. So clearly that's making itself at an important level. You got your zone. Be careful, right? Like I said, keep your risk small. Let's take a look at the 4 hours, see if we can see anything that will give us a clue to breaking out. And yes, I do like this breakout. All right. So definitely stronger of the breakouts that we've seen so far as probabilities go. So, but again, it hit this resistance. If this breakout entry was above this, I would be even more excited. But the fact that it broke out, the entry was right below a resistance. That's tough because you can see it went up, hit it with some momentum, right? Got up to it, bounced off. Now it's gone. So clearly it's going to need some super duper strength to get through it. But like I said, it seems like crude oil really wants to come back bullish. So keep an eye on this, right? I would use this 4 hour to base it on, and then maybe go to the lower time frames. And keep your risk low, right? And then your most conservative bet would just be let it get above here, break out, do a pullback, whatever time frame, lower time frame you want. But the key is to get above this resistance and look for some confirmation of a pullback, that price action we were talking earlier, where this resistance becomes a support, bounces off here, and then go. So you can take a pullback or take a breakout from there. But again, that's the more conservative, aggressive would to be find a lower time frame here, play it up to here, take some profit, then re-enter again afterwards, so on. But just, again, we are into the zone, so be careful, be careful, be careful. Let's go to Bitcoin. Oh, man, so this one has done a number. And I tell you what, man, Bitcoin is always amazes me. And the more and more I watch it, the more and more it fascinates me on so many levels. mainly because of my personal beliefs that this is ultimately the crypto world is I think long term where we're moving to as a form of payment as we try to get more and more away from cash and more into the electronic world. Clearly, we're already doing it with everything's based off credit cards and so on. So what's the next level to have a universal federal type cryptocurrency? So Bitcoin, I think, is the prime leading example of that. And I even heard over the last month, between CNBC and some friends, that just chatter of this being the new gold. Okay, so people are, moving themselves into Bitcoin, from everything from, to be liquid to avoid taxes and so on and whatever it is. I don't know, man. At the end of the day, it still kind of baffles me. I get and understand the technology, but at the same time, it's still a lot of trust and belief that of all the stuff behind it, that it's sound. And yet, here it is, making people money. And it's doing exactly that. I know a lot of day traders love this because of the volatility. I also know a lot of day traders that get eaten up because of the volatility. And you can see here, it's done exactly that. It shot up. We spoke about different levels. I talked about this consolidation range. We are now at the top of that consolidation range and done a pullback. Question is it going to break it, right? So let's take a look at the weekly, because the weekly is really the consolidation range I like to look at. And you can see here it broke out. We had a nice breakout here, not the most ideal breakout, but it broke out and it did it. And we've got a lot of overextension dots. We don't have the black dots, which is extreme. We just have the red. So we're going to get a minor overextension, but it could easily work itself out. And we'll see here. It looks like we are going to keep trucking, and possibly break this. It looks like it definitely broke it to a degree. So always fun to watch. I would say be very careful trading it because of the volatility. Be aggressive, and if anything, capture profits. That's something I can't preach to people enough. It's cool. It's great. It goes up. You got it. Now what? It doesn't mean anything until you close the deal out. And there's nothing more frustrating than going on that roller coaster ride, right? And you ride that roller coaster all the way up, only to come all the way down. And I'm telling you, in stock market, it's the reverse of a roller coaster ride. It's fun to go up. It's never fun to go down. Roller coasters are always fun when it drops, not in trading. And here, looking at the daily, you can see beautiful breakout. All right. Thing took off, had some overextensions, came back, hit the red line, but the red line held it. Okay. That showed its strength. This thing was pretty bullish. Then came back, boom, broke below it, held the green line. So we had a little bit of a minor pullback here. Went to go retest it, break it, and now we're struggling again. So we're starting to see the trend slow down. Okay. So again, might see some consolidation, so on. It might take off and break. I mean, that's Bitcoin is it's a unique item, full of volatility. Let's take a look at this 4-hour. This is a little bit more insight on this consolidation because you can see it trended up. We went into the cloud all the way through, broke out on the other side, back up, back in. Then this is where our consolidation range is going and starting. So just want to keep an eye here. I would set an alert here, right? If not here, these are going to be your two significant support levels. And then clearly at the top of the range, if it breaks it, you're going to be looking for that breakout on the lower time frame. So at least you have your range now where you can consolidate, watch, set your alerts, however you want to do, trade in between if you feel crazy enough, and look to see where this is going to go. Do keep this in mind. What goes up with volatility, as I've been told, will come back down with volatility. So keep an eye on that, all right? We are at the top of the range, and it went up quite a good bit. probabilities-wise, that thing is going to come back down. So just be careful. Don't start shooting for the moon. And if you do, just be super tight on your stops. All right, guys? The trading it's all good until it's not. So anyway, this has been another fun episode, another fun monthly review. And the next time we get into this, we'll be starting 2021. And super excited to do a nice review of the year as well and go from there. So good luck trading, guys. Enjoy everything, and make sure y'all stay tuned.